Hi, I'm Gareth Green, and in this video we're going to be having a little think about a famous Christmas song written by Irving Berlin, and it's been doing the rounds for more than 80 years. So isn't that incredible? And it's still a Christmas hit. A song that surely everybody knows. But why is it so enduring? How has Irving Berlin's song still managed to stay at the forefront of Christmas hits all these years later when things have moved on? Well, it's obviously originally associated with a film. That was initially something that made it famous, but it's full of sentiment, isn't it? Dreaming of a white Christmas, kind of evoking thoughts of Christmases past and how wonderful they were and how it makes us feel kind of nice and secure and warm. So there's something in the sentiment that's kind of timeless, that appeals to everybody. But there's also the musical design of this song, which I think has got a lot of rather clever touches in it. A lot of more modern popular songs have got very short phrases, kind of 2-bar phrases frequently, with the occasional longer phrase. This one is working on the longer phrase, 4-bar phrases and even an 8-bar phrase as well. So that's one of its things that kind of makes it feel warm and spacious. It's got a very distinctive melody. You might notice at the beginning, it's all creeping around in semitones. So you start on this E, and we're just chromatically going up a semitone, back a semitone, down a semitone, up a semitone, up a semitone, up a semitone, up a semitone. There are not many popular songs that deliver the whole of that first phrase in semitones like that. When you go on to the next phrase, because we open up those gaps, we're still delivering a melody and conjunct movement, but because we've got tones and semitones, it suddenly kind of opens up the melody, climbing to a peak and then coming back down the other side of the mountain and settling on that G, which is the dominant note of the key of C. So there's something very satisfying about that. Then he goes back to the tonic, and then we have this long phrase, kind of climbing up to the 3rd degree of the scale, then a leap up a 4th that's nice and distinctive, and he comes back down to the tonic, and then he uses the same rhythm again. So you notice the rhythm of this bar is a repetition of the rhythm of that bar. So even though it's a long phrase, we've got certain things that hook us together. So we have that same rhythm again now. Long notes, but in the middle of the phrase, it pulls us on to the end of the phrase, and we end on the 2nd degree of the scale, the supertonic. So it's leaving us in midair, all set to go back for the repeat. And then when he comes round for the second time, we finish up on this C, and then we have this very distinctive octave leap. And then a lovely falling 7th at this point that's very distinctive as well. In other words, the melody's got a lot of distinctive features that help to make it memorable. So even the melody on its own makes this an incredibly memorable song, a very singable line, a line that kind of surpasses the context of when it was written and just lives on quite happily. To support all of that, we've got some really quite amazing harmony. Now, in a more modern song, you might find that the harmony would be a lot simpler. A lot of modern songs are just kind of doing things like 3-chord tricks, working with the tonic chord, the subdominant chord, the dominant chord. Some venture out and maybe use chord 2, the supertonic chord a bit. This song is using quite a lot of extension of chords and quite a lot of chromatic stuff as well. So even the first chord, you look at the first bar of this, and we're starting with a C major 9, and then going on to a C6, and then he has this D minor over the C. But what about this then? An A7 with a flat 9. That's a lovely colour, isn't it? And it makes you feel warm about this beautiful white Christmas. And then an extension chord, the D minor 7. And then we've got this F sharp 7 going over the dominant, over the G, onto a G7 chord. Well, it's the end of that first statement, but because it's a G7, it's kind of waiting to resolve somewhere. It doesn't kind of go where a G7 would normally go, which is to a C chord, or possibly to an A minor chord, but this G7 goes on to an F major 7. So it kind of lifts the tension as the melody is rising, so it's painting that. And then we get E minor 7. So you've got kind of contramotion between the melody and the bass, then this D minor 7, back to a G7, and then kind of amazing chords, D flat 9 sharp 5, all this stuff, C major 9 again, D minor 7, E minor 7, then an F major over the dominant G. So we've had that sort of idea happen there with the F sharp, but now it's an F chord. But it pulls us into the next tonic chord, that C major chord. And then instead of just doing C major 3 times, he has C major there. And then he says, let's have C major 7, just to warm up the chord. Then let's add a 9th. And then, so you get that lovely kind of colour there, don't you? And, you know, you might well find you've got a B flat in there, that C9 chord. And then the F major as a 9th, warms up the chord. And then one of my favourite chords in this thing, this B flat 9. That's a great chord, isn't it? And then back to C major, but C major 9. So we're going back to where we were in the first bar. And then this D minor over C, he likes doing this, doesn't he? Having a chord imposed over a bass. And then this A minor 7 for in, that's a lovely chord. But then listen to this chromatic in the bass, the A flat 7. Aha, onto a D minor 7 over G. So you get that chromatic bass. That's great, isn't it? And sort of reflects that chromatic stuff in the tune from the beginning. And then we have a G9 and we go back and repeat it. Second time round, comes into the second time bar, and we go on to this F major 9, and then we get a B flat 9th. What a great chord, lovely bit of chromatic colour, isn't it? Back to C major 9 again, we've met that before. Then the A7 with a flat 9, D minor 7, and then G7 with a flat 9, and so we go on to the end. So you hear it's full of extension, full of chromatic colour, and it all helps to kind of add musical warmth to the words, to the text. So it's an ingenious bit of writing. It really stands the test of time. It works beautifully, the blend between the melody and the harmony, all of which is kind of painting these lovely words. So I use this song that's been around for more than 80 years to say to you all, Happy Christmas from all of us. Merry Christmas, everyone. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, do go to our website www.mmcourses.co.uk. One of the things you'll find there is a link to something called Maestros. Maestros is our international community of musicians, and apart from the many perks that come with being a Maestro member, if you join at level 2 or level 3, you have access to live streams every month. And level 2 means we get lots of teaching input through those live streams where we're looking at pieces of music like we've just done in this video and trying to discover what's behind the music, what's actually going on, how does the composer come to think it out in this particular way. So lots of musical insight for you there, alongside many other things that we do there. The level 3 group, nothing to do with levels of ability, by the way, just levels of engagement. The level 3 group is really for composers and performers. If you want to submit your own song or your own piece of music or your own recording of something that you've been performing, then level 3 is for you. While you're on the homepage, have a look at our courses. Lots of courses there that could help you to write, could help you to appreciate music, could help you with aural skills, theory skills, orchestration skills, analysis skills. There's heaps there. Have a look and see what might be useful to you. www.mmcourses.co.uk